What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I am just doing a shoot and edit. Yesterday I was editing a wedding and I managed to get it done before the sunset went down, so I took my new Jeep out. I bought this little, well, new Jeep, it's old TJ Wrangler. I took it out to the beach, played around in the sand, done some exploring, just testing it out. It's full of sand now, sitting in my garage. I got to clean the bloody thing out. But anyway, I had the Sony 35mm 1.8 with me and my A7R3. All of these photos were taken with that, and it's really just me mucking around, taking some photos, coming back and editing them with you guys, just showing you what I do. The process is really basic. It's probably a lot less involved than you would think. I do use the presets that I sell. I don't kind of sell some random ones that I've just made up for YouTube. These are the ones I use. Most of these ones I'm going to be using the CTM6 because, I don't know, I just find it works really well with this kind of scenery. So you'll see most of them I try and crop sort of straight on the horizon and get the framing right. It just saves a little bit of time when I'm going through editing, and I don't go up here and click the tool. If you hover over them, you can see it usually shows a shortcut there, so it says R. So shortcut keys are the key with shortcuts are the key with Lightroom to speeding things up. So I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe just bring the shadows up a touch. I do like to leave my shadows dark where they're supposed to be dark, kind of thing. I'm going to upload this in 4K, so hopefully you guys can see the quality of the lens and the depth of field, I guess. And if you're wondering about the settings, they're all up here when we go through them. So before and after there. I am on auto white balance too, I believe. This one I thought it would make a pretty cool black and white, because the white balance is so off, being nice and warm out here, and obviously it's a little bit blown out and really cold in the shadows. So use the black and white. And we've got most of it back. Kind of a dark, moody shot. Don't know what that spot is. Probably a dead animal or something. So this road just leads down through to the beach access, and then I just went over the dunes. It sort of curls around over the dunes coming down here. It's a public road that leads straight onto it. It's really easy to find. I'll put a link in the description to where it is if you guys live in the area. So go with the mild one again. A little bit warm maybe. You can see the 35mm 1.8 vignettes quite a bit at 1.8, but it's super sharp. As you can see, f1.8 and all the way to the edges. It's really nice and sharp. I think I'll just leave that as it is. This one I shot at f9, and I tried to get the Jeep in the middle, but it obviously didn't do a very good job of it. Bring the shadows right up on that one. Center it up a little bit. I like using empty space quite a bit, but you can see it vignettes pretty hard out. There's no profile correction for this lens yet, so you just have to do it manually. That's about right. But as you can see at f9, it's super sharp. It does kind of fall off a little bit right on the outside edges when you stop it down that far. I think the sweet spot's around f7, but yeah, it's pretty sharp lens. Just shooting through the windscreen, trying to show whereabouts I'm going. Heaps of burnt out cars down here. This is like a new BT50 Mazda Ute, same kind of thing as like a Ford Ranger. Not the Ranger you guys have in the States. These ones are a bit smaller, but pretty bad light. Let's see what we can do with it. Harsh sunlight kind of works with that one, funnily enough. This preset has a little bit of grain on it by default, but it's really easy just to take it off if you don't like it. I usually use grain. I just always have. It's just something I enjoy personally. This was when you go off the beach, you go right down this really long track, and it leads to this little lake. But the dynamic range here, you can see from the sensor, you can pull all sorts out of it, and still, I mean, obviously it's the depth of field doesn't have it there. You can see quite a bit of chromatic aberration on that bar there, but probably pretty easy to fix. Good enough. I don't like the shadows up that high either. Probably bring it back down. It's good. And now I can probably, you can see this shot's the same situation. I can probably just copy all the settings and paste it on there. It looks a little bit flat. Maybe bring the shadows back down a touch. It's better. So this one, as you can see by the histogram, I've underexposed it a fair bit. Kind of like how the sky looks with that one. See, the vignetting is actually pretty bad, but easy to correct. Take that grain off. I'll put a lot of these images in the description below as well, so you guys can check those out. Just get rid of that little reed. This clone tool is pretty bad in Lightroom actually. I usually use it in Photoshop, but get rid of some of those distractions. It's good. Here's another big test for the dynamic range on the A7R3. As you can see, the chromatic aberration still happening there. But again, this is at f1.8, and I've just focused, you know, on this distance here. It's literally as easy as that, and that aberration's gone. So this next one, I'll just copy the settings from this as well and paste them onto that. Maybe a little bit too warm. And bring those shadows back down a touch. But even at ISO 800, with before and after, you can see there's really little amount of noise in there, even after bringing it right up. Pretty awesome camera really. And it's brought the exposure right up as well. Maybe leave it around there. Copy those settings again. See, the copy and paste function is great. If I just reset this image, you know, copy it from that, move on over, Control V or Command V, and you're pretty much done, you know. It kind of takes a lot of the effort out of the work. Nice and sharp on the edge there. Yeah, I think the sweet spot for this lens is definitely around f8 if you want to get most of the frame sharp as. This one I was just having trouble trying to figure out the best way to show where I was heading, you know, like in terms of composition and all that. I feel like that kind of sets the scene a little bit. I was just testing the flex on the Jeep suspension. So yeah, now I'm just copy and pasting and really having no issues at all with highlights or anything, having to change anything. These next photos are all kind of the same. At f1.8 again, real sharp. Background's nice and soft as well, not too distracting. Everyone will have their own opinion on it, I'm sure. Maybe try another black and white. Moody. The punchy preset makes the greens look quite a bit different. It's more of a colder look to it, but this was from my first set of presets that I released. If I change that and go back to the mild one, you can see the greens are quite a bit different. Actually, I'll make a virtual copy and go to the punchy. You can see the greens are a lot more, like, have that minty kind of look to them. So it really depends on your personal preference, but you know, I kind of like that warmer look. This one I was just holding the camera over above my head with the screen folded out. It's the difference between the punchy and the soft, the two original presets as well. And then if you go to the mild, everything's just a little bit warmer and softer. I like that. It works really well in this forest kind of situations. So I kind of like that in black and white. Just level that out a little bit. The Jeep actually has a lean, like the suspension sagged a little bit on the right hand side. Even though the ground's not perfectly level, it is kind of sagged a little bit. I've ordered some new springs for it today, so hopefully they'll show up pretty soon. We'll fit those in. And then it's got a nice little reflection shot down there on the water. Bring that right up. You see, I love the dynamic range in this camera. It's so good. Center it up a touch. That f3.2 there, you can see again, really nice and sharp. It's a really great lens, honestly. I'm so happy with it. The 35mm Sigma, the 1.2, I think is definitely a little bit better in terms of optics and sharpness and stuff like that, but it's such a big lens. You guys have seen my review on that already. You can check that out. I'll put a link below. Oops. I find a good way to test the vignetting as well is just to look up at the navigator screen. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to gauge how it looks. So, still looks off a little bit. Maybe it's because of that wave. So that's it, guys. There you have it. A little bit of a photo adventure for you guys. I'm going to be doing more of these. If you guys would prefer for it to cut, you know, in between the camera on me and the screen, or talking about other things, or anything you guys want to see that maybe I didn't touch on, this is just kind of an experimental series for me. So let me know what you guys think of this. Drop a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, let me know what I can change and what would look better for you guys, and maybe let me know what lens you want me to test next, and I'll go out and do something else, maybe do a walk around the city or something, take some photos, see how we go. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.